welcome to Inception Podcast. Hi, everybody. Now, this podcast is not interviewing. It's two people, one in one Zoom room and one in the other, just having a conversation about the most important topic currently at the moment, consciousness. So, welcome. I'd like to introduce my guest. I'd like to introduce Chris today. Chris is a talk show and podcast host and founder of Forbidden Knowledge News. Wicked show. He brings to the conversation an informative, interesting, and sometimes very controversial approach. So everyone get ready. Right, I've read that. You can send me the money later, okay?
It's in the mail.
In the mail. Start the conversation. So, Chris, what is the human experience?
If I knew that, I wouldn't be here. I'd have millions and I'd be telling everybody how to do it. Oh man, what a question. The human experience. I'm just now getting kicked in the ass really hard with my human experience and learning all about it. I in no way claim to know what is going on here, what our nature of reality is, but I have a little better idea every day. And with each experience that I can't explain, I have a little better idea as well. It's funny how that works. But as far as what I can tell during this day, the human experience for me is, well, I guess I could go deep from the beginning. The universe, everything, consciousness, God, source. It's everything communicating and learning and growing through me and through you and through each individual and through each animal and through each tree and learning about new experiences, growing from the experiences, seeking out knowledge and continuing the ongoing transformation of expanding consciousness from the universe, from source to us and beyond. And I think that may be a little bit about what the human experience is about. But I think to add to that as well is consciousness is so massive and these individual pieces of consciousness are so different because of the different experiences that everyone has, different cultures, different upbringings, that when we incarnate, we are seeking a different experience from a previous incarnation.
Okay.
And I also think that each incarnation has somewhat of a stored consciousness from the previous individual to kind of keep that individual unique and special, if you know what I mean.
Wow. Look at that, guys. I don't know. I have no idea. Hello.
That's just a guess. Just a
guess.
Guess.
Just a guess. All right, stop showing off. And can you please mute your phone? I muted my phone.
You know what? I don't even know where that was. That's not my phone. I checked. There's a rogue phone in here, and I'm gonna have to find it.
Phone, or you got some chip somewhere. Anyway, okay. I mean, that was really informative. And I like that. I love hearing everyone's interpretation, and we can all put it together and go, never thought of that. But that's cool. Okay, Chris, so we're going to go on. So we've got the human experience. And you touched on the next question, which is, who am I? So if you're asking yourself, who am I? Who are you, Chris? Who are you?
Who am I?
Well, I'm sorry. Ooh.
No, that's no problem. Yeah, I'm definitely not a sack of flesh and meat and bones that identifies by, what sports show he watches or what job he has.
Yeah.
Definitely not that. But I'm really not sure exactly what you would call me besides a spiritual being, an entity that is made of this collective consciousness that I was speaking of earlier. with a certain goal in this incarnation, and I learn more about that goal every day. And what I'm doing right now, speaking to you, is part of that. It's part of achieving that either goal for this lifetime or just a nugget of experience for the next.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Can
It
I
could
ask
be.
you? I'm going to ask you. I'm going to come back at you on that. On the first part, on the first question, you spoke of the consciousness and the experiences. So, would you agree or not? It doesn't matter. We're just discussing. If that is the case on the first part, which my truth is the same as that truth, everything is consciousness. Would you agree, or how do you feel about if we say, who am I? Then I would say my truth is I'm a conscious being or spiritual being or God or whatever you want to call it, having a human experience. That is who I am.
I would agree 100% on that. Definitely.
Okay.
I would think that also maybe to add maybe a little bit to that, and combine it with what I was saying earlier about how people have such unique experiences, and it makes everyone very different.
Yeah.
I think that that's a huge part of the human experience, is to be that different person and not try and be something you're not.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact is, if as I will say, if I've said this to other guests, if you purport the fact I am a spiritual being having a human experience just like that and lip service it out, it means nothing. It's love and light. But if you deconstruct that statement you're making, I am a spiritual being or a conscious being having a human experience, it then correlates with what you said for question one about the diversity. So obviously consciousness is not going to come in one like Chris and go, everyone's got to be like Chris, Mr. Smith in the Matrix, yeah? So it shows the richness and the diversity. We're still the one consciousness having multiple experiences at multiple times now. Would you agree with that? Or
I would. And I actually want to kind of bring this to the table because it's a discussion I had the other night, and it kind of made me question a lot of things, the nature of evil. I'm not sure if you heard that show with Alex Akiris from Skeptico.
I did.
Yeah, he brought up some very interesting points about the nature of evil, and it made me add some further questions to that. And I want to throw a question at you about it.
Look, you're not supposed to flip it. You are a bulldog interviewer. You're unfair. I'm a little old woman in a village in UK.
Well, we can have a discussion about it because I want to open that door. I want to open that door.
Then go for it.
Well, okay. So I would like to get your thoughts on the nature of evil, because I was, arguing, not really arguing, but kind of throwing it out there that I'm not sure if that's something that originates from source. I'm not sure that's something that we always have. Is it something that we learn, or is it something implanted? That is a big conflict for me, because I was saying, there's a certain point where, I get angry. You can pour some water over somebody's head or punch somebody in the face, but there's a certain level that you cross, a certain line that you cross where you're killing somebody or you're raping somebody or you're doing something horrific that, really crosses this good and evil line, in my opinion, at least.
Okay. Right, guys, just want you to know out there, this is now the Forbidden Knowledge News Show. Okay?
Welcome.
Coming from my truth and my perspective, because I did listen to that show, I did listen. I come from, as you're aware, from the concept of non-duality. So I come from that I am consciousness having a human experience, okay? And that I consciousness can experience all things at all times. And to do that, I must come into, we'll use Homo sapien terminology here. I spoke before the juxtaposition, I consciousness. So we've got one side Homo sapien sapien, all the beliefs, concepts, ideas, and then we have obviously just consciousness. So coming from the Homo sapien sapien perspective. So I am consciousness experiencing polarity. Okay, to know myself or to experience anything, I have to experience polarity, other, up, down, black, white, good, bad, or evil and non-evil. I don't know. What's the opposite to evil? Anyway, so that's where I cover from. I think, what is the question? What's the opposite to evil? Non-evil.
Well,
anyway, what is it?
I think that's better than good if you say non-evil.
Yeah, I think it is. So there you go. There's a new term come out there.
Awesome.
I'm gonna.
That was an etching.
Yeah, that was an etching, and I'm copyrighting that. Don't steal my etching. So when I look now, you have some awareness of my experience as a Homo sapien sapien. So I came into torture, child abuse, rape. Been there, done it, and did it, and got the experience. So I'm fully aware. So I'm not naive or talking out my backside saying da 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 da. I've experienced all of that. Okay. For my truth is, this is really gonna be hard. He switched it around, hasn't he? The bastard. It is consciousness. There is nothing outside consciousness. The first hurdle is if you have a truth that everything is consciousness, everything is energy, quantum physics 101, there you go. That's the first step. That's my truth. I don't expect anyone else to share that truth if they don't want to. I choose to share that truth. Here now, then I have experienced what you call evil, correct? I've experienced it. At the time of the experience, I was not aware of who I was in a juxtaposition, just an experiencer. It seemed real that I was a victim, I was being harmed, and that had to happen to go through the human experience. Otherwise, if you come in knowing you're God, what good's that going to do? It's really irrelevant. So when I
have to make so much sense.
So if I I'm a god, what are you doing? Anyway, stop it, you're naughty. So for me, an experiencer of multiple things, it's consciousness experience playing the role of a negative Nelly, what you call evil. Now hold on, this is very paradoxical. And if you're coming from a left brain human consciousness, I am just a limited conscious being. It's like, okay, but bear with me. Consciousness is the only thing that exists. We are the illusion. You said it on question 1. I am not my body. I'm not my beliefs. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not. So you know what you're not first. I didn't know that way back in the day. Doing the work on yourself, then I come to realize the analogy I'm going to give you is like, imagine a movie. So we're in, let's do Dracula, because that's scary shit still, yeah?
Yeah.
We're in a Vincent Price Dracula movie, and we're watching it at the same time. We're experiencing all the scariness and horrors and the death and the blood and everything, but we're observing it at the same time. This is so hard to articulate. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand where I'm going with this?
Yes, it does.
So consciousness, there is only consciousness. There's nothing outside consciousness. Consciousness or God or Christ consciousness, we all know is, if we've experienced it, is unconditional love. There's no, you're going to hell, Chris, because you flipped on Gloria. No, there is nothing like that. So it's consciousness. And I always say, imagine consciousness as a ball of light, and other people use it too, put the colander over and all the rays come out. That's the individual. But to experience being a Homo sapien sapien, you need polarities. You need polarities. Then polarities are to push you, yeah, to start working on from the limited conscious being, victim, poor me, and all the rest, or egotistic, head so far up their backside they could brush their teeth, Homo sapiens sapien. And it pushes you to go within, to ask the questions you're supposed to ask. And then you tend to, 101, change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it switches. And then you see the illusion. The experience I had, it was real. It was absolutely real. But in the juxtaposition, I'm fully aware it was the illusion of Maya that I'm experiencing. That's deep shit. And
it is. And it gives me so much to think about, and it resonates very highly with me. And it'll give me some ammunition next time I talk to Alex. So yeah.
But that's my truth. That's my perspective. Now, can I have my podcast?
Turn it back over to you.
Thank you.
Rhythm Knowledge News next week, guys.
All right. Okay. So we've done what is the human experience? Who am I? Here comes the big one. We have touched on it. I think but if you want to go deeper, Chris, deeper, you can. Why am I here? Why are you here? But we've touched on that. But do you want to expand on that a bit more?
Yeah, let's talk about what could possibly be soul contracts or previous agreements that you might have made to come here. Now, I'm not sure about this because I've never had any near-death experiences. I haven't had any experiences like some of my previous guests who say that they can remember making these soul contracts or having a near-death experience and having memories of a possible next life or previous, or all these experiences that we can't verify, but people have their own truth about them. Now, it makes me think that if that is so, there are maybe times that we choose to come back with a specific goal. Or maybe it's every time. I really don't know, but I think it's a big possibility that could be part of why we're coming back, is because we chose a specific something to come here and do.
Okay. I mean, that's not my truth. But because we are fully aware of the human experience, the diversity, every individuality will experience it, the answer to that question differently. Remember my orange analogy? You have half, I have half. We both experience the orange, but totally different. I think my truth, I know my truth is I don't have that as a truth. Doesn't mean it's not a truth, because I cannot comment, because I don't experience what they experience when they have a near-death experience to tell them that. So I can't say that's not true. But it's not in my experience. When I was told that years ago, and it was this scholar, believe it or not, he was a scholar, and we were talking one day, and I was just playing the victim, life, as you do, and he turned around and he said to me, you chose to be here. And he was in a religion, I will not say which religion, and he was a gorgeous, gorgeous man. I said, what? I didn't even say what the fuck, because he was a religious, really high religion. I went, what? He said, you chose to be here. And I just turned around and said, if that's the case, someone fraudulently signed my name. Why would I choose to go through all that I've gone through? Yeah, and that's what I said. Hold on. Now, fast forward, and we always say hindsight's a bitch, is it not? Consciousness, juxtaposition, consciousness. I'm fully aware that I chose it. I created it to have a human experience from consciousness perspective. Does that make sense to you?
It does, yeah.
Okay, so that truth to them, they're having that truth from the, maybe, I don't know, the Homo sapiens sapien consciousness, which is not wrong. I'm going from consciousness. I needed to have this experience, so I chose it. Is that all right with you?
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it adds to my little soup of knowledge and theories, and things that I could consider.
Remember, I'm psychic. I'm a medium, so don't try and flip it again. Otherwise, you're in trouble. And it's called elder
I can
abuse.
sense the trouble.
Yeah, you can. This is elder abuse. Respect your elders. Anyway, so now we're really getting into the nitty gritty. As you can see, guys, this is not an interview. This is just chaos. I've even plaited my hair. I keep saying it. The only thing I can control in the chaos is my chaotic hair. So I'm in plaits.
Oh, I thought you did that so you could just beat me with those.
Shh, that's later, Chris. Later. Shh. Don't let them know what we get up to off camera. Right. So the next question, Chris, what is reality? We have sort of answered it. However, I want you to go deeper down the rabbit hole.
This is a tough one for me, because I don't think anything is real in a physical sense. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, what reality could be many things for me. It could be just a program and a mass. I don't like the term simulation because
no, I don't like that either.
Because that, and it kind of infers that
we agree on something. Thank God for that. There you go.
But maybe holographic reality or something of that nature where nothing is really physical and it's kind of like a projection. Okay. And I think that I'm coming to the more of the terms that this could be some sort of just a special realm for human development. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say planet. I don't know if it's a planet. I don't know if it's flat. I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, I think that it is a specific place for Homo sapien experiences, for the spiritual, us, our consciousness, our spiritual selves, to come in here and experience this. If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. It's basically what we've already discussed. When we listen to the playback of chats like this, conversations, you can start to see things. And I just saw something there. I was just about to say, yeah, I agree. And I went, hold on. I am consciousness having the human experience. I'm creating this experience. However, I'm in that position. I'm going, that's consciousness coming out. However, saying it from the Homo sapien, I totally agree. I totally, absolutely agree. I know it's hard sometimes to get your head around this juxtaposition, but if you go around and say, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, you've got to go in that conversation. What does that mean? And you've got to say, I'm in a juxtaposition. Here's me talking as Homo sapien to have the human experience. I'm doing the work. And this is conscious saying, that's correct for the experience. So on that, we can call it whatever we fucking want. We can call it a simulation, holographic universe. I like to say it's a movie. At the moment, it feels like, I don't know, the life of Brian or Monty Python. And I'm waiting for the big foot to come out the sky and go, it's a joke. Right. But it's some sort of the illusion of Maya. Now, why I can say that's my truth and why I validate that truth within me is because quantum physics 101 validates that. There is no thing such as matter. Everything that we perceive as matter is just energy vibrating at a certain frequency. There is a program in the reality once the observer looks at it. So it doesn't exist. It's a wave until I observe it, and then it's in form. And the weirdest thing to that, the other day I was having this conversation with myself, as you do, because I'm Billy No Mates in the village, Hot Fuzz Village. And all of a sudden this experience, this etching, and the floor disappeared. For nanos, woo. And then I got up and I was like, is it there? Is it there? And then it came into my head, when you wake up in the morning, the floor's not there. until you observe it. And I was like, I don't want to go there. Not now, not now, not now. Where's the floor? So having them sort of etchings, downloads, because they won't know what our etchings are in our secret club. It really shifts the reality. I've said all of that, Chris, but there isn't a description that can describe. It's an experience.
And that, what you just said there, that whole thing would explain why paranormal and contact experiences are so personal.
Yes.
And, you know, you can't ask to see it from another person.
No, you can't. Never, ever. And the same experience, someone will experience it slightly different. You know, we always get, well, I've had a bad ET experience, and well, I've had a good ET experience, or the middle one is, it was bad, then it got good because it made me wake up. So it's the same experience, but coming from different perspectives. So, right, we can hold on to the reality one. We're doing good. We're doing good here. Now, who is ET? Who do you think ET is? Whoever ET is.
No, this is I'm constantly changing how I feel and what I think about this.
Good. I do it all the time. Good.
I used to think he was a little green guy traveling here in a tin can from a different universe. It kind of evolved.
Yeah.
I'm right now, I'm stuck between, is ET just a projection of our own consciousness because it has been planted there and we want to see ET? Or, you know, along those same lines, is it our higher selves and our guides that are still us and connected to us, just speaking as ET because we can maybe understand that better? I don't know. Or is it something outside of the collective consciousness? Is it something outside of what we've been talking about? I don't know. That could be outside of this whole consciousness colander that we were discussing. I sometimes question that. I keep it in the back, you know. Be as a could be type thing. Or is it you know, is it part of this whole collective consciousness, but the experience that these beings are having are always non-human? I don't know. That could be something as well.
I mean, the bit of outside the colander, because I come from non-duality perception, everything is consciousness and quantum physics. So there's nothing outside consciousness. So it can't come from outside. That's just my truth. That's me. So we can agree to disagree if we need to. I will not throw my plats at you yet.
Well, I can't disagree because I don't know. It's just one of those things.
No, it's
around in my brain.
These questions need to be asked. I asked this question before to someone, and by asking the question, what you're doing, you're actually using something that the Homo sapien has that no one tends to use much. It's called discernment. I do not say that patronizing. I just say, you've got it. Why don't you use it? So it needs to be asked. There's no right or wrong answer. We're exploring consciousness. Myself, because I come from that perception, it is consciousness in another shape and form. And that conscious being, that ET, for example, is experiencing being that to play into the Homo sapien, the human experience for us. At the moment, my truth could change at any time. I eat so much humble pie. It's like, it's so hard to use words. It's like for my consciousness, my conscious experience to evolve, to change to new experiences, even though I've seen them since I was a kid, but I now have an awareness of my connection with them that way. So that is consciousness in the colander. It's always been there, obviously. Well, for my lifetime it has. It's always been there. It's never been, it's not coming in from anywhere. It's here. However, there's something about when you deconstruct who you are and realize you're not what you call the piece of meat, the lump, you know, and all that. The energy, which is proven scientifically now, increases, oscillation occurs, and your frequency, and prior to that, the Homo sapien limited consciousness could only see a certain amount. Yeah, just a certain amount. You'd have your gut feeling, your intuition, you get it right now and again, or being a medium, you talk to spirit, that does open a door, I must admit. But as that raises, or whatever, Trevor, you want to call it, you just notice what's always been there. And it is said, what is hidden will be revealed. What is hidden will be revealed. So they've always been there as part of the Homo sapien experience. And it's because you can't say it's not, because the 3D experience is polarity, them and us, different than me, black, white, ugly, beautiful, grey, whatever names people want to give them or they give themselves. So they are part of this experience. How does that sound?
That sounds good. And I would imagine it would be the same thing with spiritual entities that some consider angels or even demons or other negative type non-physical entities, that it's all part of the same type of thing.
Yes.
Because so I guess if you ask who is ET, it could be the same question as who are the angels or who are demons.
Exactly. I mean, you got the angels, you got, in my experience, I haven't experienced, that's because I black out before I'm taken through a wall. So I don't really know what I've experienced that way, but there are other experiences where I do recall have always been knowledge, experiential knowledge and knowing. Some other Homo sapien conscious being will experience maybe demons because they chose to experience that for whatever that experience is supposed to mean to them at some point. They have a choice. I say you have a choice. It's like being a medium and spirit comes in. I have a choice. If I pick up a negative Nelly, like very rare, I mean, I don't even remember it, maybe when I was a kid, and I feel it, I just say, go away. You don't come in. And that's the same, you can do that with even these dimensional beings, anything. Just say no. I had one day, it obviously was not a spirit, it was another type. The only one nearest was, it could have been, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And then I was sitting in my bed again. I always sat in my bed for experiences, as you do. Oh, that came out wrong. Oh, fuck. No, we're deleting that.
I recorded that.
Let it out the bag. And then I was in this space. It was a very, what you would call spiritual. And it was just so loving. And then I heard Gloria externally. I jumped up, Chris. I went ape shit. Don't you ever, blah, blah, bleep, bleep, like a lady does in the UK, do that again. It stopped. So what I'm trying to show you is we create our reality. We have free will as a Homo sapien. We have free will of choice. I don't want to experience that. So people that experience demons and that, they have a choice. It's not wrong. If they has consciousness wanting to experience the dark and the light. That's all. That's just my truth. I know it won't make people happy, but
no, like I said, it makes too much sense. It really does.
If you believe in the consciousness and the human experience, that itself will come in and get you to deconstruct every question we throw out to each other.
And lately I've been finding myself, if I'm out in public, if I'm in a grocery store, if I'm somewhere and I get angry at someone or I'm aggravated at someone, I have to look at that person and say, oh, that's me being a douchebag today. Okay, I just have to, let it go.
Yeah. I look at, I call them negative Nellies because I think it's more affectionate. And I look and inside I'm not laughing at them and I'm going, I know who you are. You may be portraying an arsehole, if you think I'm going to respond and go down your reality, I've been there, done it and did it and got the scars, the flags, the T-shirts. I've had enough of the human experience. I'm out of it. And so I don't, and because I, like yourself, if you don't react and you don't connect, then the situation will dissolve itself. Okay? There's many ways you can do that. I heard this amazing guy on this. I watched a clip come up, and I wish I could remember his name, but I'm old and decrepit and memory loss, as you do. Anyway, but it was so profound. It was nothing to do with consciousness. But he was like, what do you call a ninjutsu, chai tea, latte, whatever, Trevor. Lovely guy, lovely guy. And I used to do chai tea, look at me. Years ago. Chi. You can tell this is not an interview. It's organic conversation. This is me. Here I am. Oh, and he said something amazing. And he had shown them how to defend themselves physically. But then he said to them, you don't need to do that. And they went, what? He said, watch this. So he got another student up and he said to the student, I'm going to look at you in a real mean way. You're an arsehole. You got a knife in your pocket and you got your mates and an ego. You're going to come just for me looking at you. And I want you to say to me, who the fuck are you looking at? Come in. That's it. There you go. So this student loved saying it to him. And he turned around and he went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. My wife just died last night. He said, it's a total lie. It's been done. And he said, the enemy, the energy of the negative person, it shocks them back. He said, just things like that. You can do what you do what I do. But if you really can't, if you really want to face plant the negative Nelly there that's really in your face and they're going for you, he said, tell a lie. Tell a lie. Tell a lie. Oh, my daughter's just died. You haven't even got a daughter. You break the energy. You break it down because one will feed off the other. So you've got negative and positive. So if you got a negative and I'm looking at you, Chris, and going, you fucking looking at me, and you come back, yeah, like, there we are. I beat you with the plats, yeah? But if I say, you fucking looking at me, and you come back and say, I'm so sorry, Gloria, but, you know, my son died last night. It was just, and I don't know. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Boom, you break it. So there's many ways we can do that, Chris. You know?
Wow, I've never thought about it like that.
Well, I never did. I mean, yeah. Who would have thought that I should know everything? Hello, I'm me.
Well, it's better than, you know, punching somebody in the face. Yeah, a little lie.
But some people still find it hard because they get a resistance. They thought, how do you get out of it? I said, well, I'm not that spiritual. I said, don't say that bullshit. That's a lie. That's a belief. But if you're not quite ready for that, why don't you start reacting differently, from the Homo sapiens sapien? But this guy just come up on social media and I went, I never knew that. I might try that to see if that. No one ever comes at me. Do you want to come at me, Chris? Come at me and I'll see if it will.
You will knock me out with those things so fast. No way.
I'm telling you, I'm on a roll with these. Right, so we've gone deeper in that. So we just pull them all in and then we see what comes out at the end. So I think we've already covered the next question, how are we connected? We've covered that. We're consciousness. They're consciousness, we are. Here comes a big one. Deep down the rabbit hole. You are so not flipping it on me, okay? Why are they here, Chris?
Why are they here? Now I assume you're talking about ET or angels
or guides. Yeah, we're talking about ET. You know the experiences you've had and yeah, why are your truth at the moment, which could change at any time? Why are they here?
For me, they're here because I was ready to meet them. I was ready to hear the message. I was ready to experience them. And I asked for it. You know, I was really seeking it. But I believe that that's why they're here, is because I was ready for them, ready to experience them, and ready to grow from them.
Wow.
I think that's the simplest answer.
That's a wow answer, isn't it? That's a bit profound. He's showing off, guys. We're not going to have that. I may have to turn into the nasty interviewer in a minute because that was too good. So really, on that one, it then sort of falls on to the last question, but not the end of the podcast, but the last question, so we can pull it all in together. Why are they, though, interested in us? Now, go back to your answer to the last question, why you think they're here. You asked them. But can you go deeper, if possible?
Sure.
Why are they interested in us?
I think this is another simple one, and I can't get angry at me for this one either. I think they are us. I think that they're so much a part of us. I think that in my experience, I'm starting to believe that the main entity that I communicate with is my higher self, our future self, or whatever you want to call it. And the other ones are just highly connected energy parts of myself, maybe past lives of myself, maybe ancestors, but ultimately it's just they are so connected with us that they are part of us, and they have an interest in our expanding consciousness. And I think when each person is ready for that new level of growth in their life, either a spirit guide appears, an alien, it's this entity, or they have a weird paranormal experience they can't explain, something to maybe jumpstart or boost that evolution that's happening.
Yeah. That was another wow. You know, I hate you. You know what? I am never going on your show again.
Oh, no.
I hate him. That was another wow moment. Now, I don't know if you see what I've done. I asked 8 questions, which is coming from the perspective of Homo sapiens sapien in the juxtaposition. On the first question, we answered the subsequent 7. Did you get that? We are. Yeah. Did you see what?
Yes. Yeah.
There's a method in my madness. If I want to demonstrate something, because I can't articulate it sometimes, I have an agenda.
You have talk show genius in you.
Oh, do I? Yes. Okay. So we've gone through the conversation. Now we've got it in there. Now, Chris, the last part of this conversation. What more can we pull out? Because soon, well, I think the panel is going to come out before the podcast. I can't make my mind up what's coming out first, but we can do a bit of time traveling. So, guys, if the podcast comes out before this, it was meant to be. If this comes out before the podcast, we have a secret podcast coming up.
Yes, we do. Super secret.
Did I pull that off?
Yeah, that was perfect.
So fucking illogical, wasn't it? But never mind. Anyway, we have that coming up where the 6 of us are going to go deep. Okay. But individually, we're going deep. Okay. What more can we discern about the subject we spoke about? We have a resonance that we are consciousness having a human experience, and we've done all that. What more? For example, Chris, what's next?
Great. I'm glad to see where you're going with that one. I think collectively we're kind of in a shitty place right now. The planet is tense, you know, for people that have no idea what's going on spiritually or consciousness wise, they have a lot piling on them, and it's affecting the collective, and we have a lot piling on us just because of everyday shit. So and we don't always do the right thing all the time. And there's a lot of outside, I mean, not really outside, but there's a lot of dystopian and negative things occurring that is out of our immediate control, at least, and we have to kind of see it unfold. But I think the next step is how can we make this incarnation, this experience, for the rest of the time we have in these particular meat suits, a little better than it is right now, collectively. And that's the question that I'm kind of asking right now, because I see a lot of people suffering and I don't like it. And, it feeds off of the negative energy, and I want things to be better for everyone. Who doesn't? Well, there's a few, but
Okay, no,
I think that's the next step, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that is, from what I've heard from many people, it's a very similar scenario. There's no right and there's no wrong. The first part you spoke about, so what we're witnessing and experiencing. So let's get back in the juxtaposition. The Homo sapiens sapien is witnessing this. However, I'm going to have to pull it back and say, to deconstruct, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and I have to go to the other side. So consciousness is aware of this is going on. Okay, it's fully aware of what's going on, that them conscious beings are doing this, that, and the other, and we're noticing these conscious beings are really trying to take control and crush, divide Homo sapiens sapien into different camps and bring more control and more control. So coming from consciousness, the observer, you're aware, but you don't participate. So that means the likes of us do not comply. We don't comply. So we're not in that reality per se, but the reality is here. This is where choice is coming in. Know thyself or stay in that reality. I have an understanding from this perspective of non-duality, because I've changed the way I look at things. I tell you, if someone comes to try to do something to me, I will, fight to my physical death. No, there's no compliance. I'm here to have a human experience, so I must respond in a physical way. It's obvious, isn't it? If you come and try and kill me, Chris, I'm going to fight back and kill you first. Face plant you down and jump and stamp on your head. Obviously, you don't love and light. There's nothing going on. Hello. Yes, there is. There's a reality we're experiencing. We need to experience the human experience. We need to partake, make choices in it. So, but I'm coming from, I am consciousness having the human experience. So I have no fear of what's going on, no matter what happens. However, coming from that perspective, if I want to use the word, no, I won't even use the word. Coming from that perspective, Chris, and I think we touched upon it when I was in your show last time, it's already done. We did it. It's an illusion. This extra is illusional. It will dissipate. What is hidden will be revealed. And if you can just step back and go, I don't want to kill her yet, but let me just use a bit of discernment. If you have a belief it's still going on, you'll experience that belief in your reality. You will create it. If you have a truth and knowing I am a spiritual being having a human experience, well, I can't believe that. I'm in it. I'm part of it. If I'm taken off to some camp or something, I will experience that, just like I experience multiple rape and torture. I'm aware of that. Does that make sense to you, Chris?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So there is nothing to fear, but fear itself. And that, them negative Nellies, or whatever you want to call them, evil bastards, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't make no difference. That consciousness is pushing and pushing the polarity to the consciousness that is awakening in every individual Homo sapiens sapien. Look, one person, one human does not wake up. It goes. It's a belief system. We need so many percentage. If you know who you are, you know that's a belief and it's not true. If you believe it, it's your truth. And you'll stay in this reality waiting for a percentage that you think is correct. My truth at this moment, we did it. It's just, I look at someone and go, come on, you know who you are. You know we've got through it. It's time to fucking celebrate. Have that, even if you don't believe me, take it on and live it and feel it.
Right.
We did it. Stop with the illusion. And, I watched Ryder's show the other day with the amazing Lindsay on there. And she gave an analogy about China. And she said, people think that's an independent state. It's an illusion. It's not. They're all together. Wake up. And I'm going, it's all an illusion. So if they're coming, the love and lighters, and say, we're nearly there. We need more. Fuck off. I'm there. I'm free. Even if they come and take me off to boot camp, wherever I am, I'm free because I know who I am. And I'm aware it's the illusion. Now, that energy I'm projecting out, or another being, I'm not saying I'm awake. Consciousness never sleeps. Duh. They say, wake up, consciousness. Or I'm not. Amnesia is used a lot. And I used to use the word amnesia. The Homo sapiens sapien identity, mask on, pretending to be what it's not, can have amnesia. Consciousness is there, is never asleep, never forgets. And we all know all through our life, even as young as yourself, and as old as I am now, all through it you go back, the mask comes off, and consciousness light bulb or download, ooh, and it goes back on. You play the role. Shakespeare
You just turned 25, right?
You know what, Chris? 21. Come on, love.
I'm sorry. Gosh, I get that wrong.
Get my plaits out and whip you hard. So does that make sense to you? If you come in from there, it's a Monty Python. I said it on your show before about some of the laws. People, and I heard someone else on one of your shows or Ryder's show, I can't remember, because I watch you, I'm stalking you both, because you're both amazing. Both amazing. That's where I got all my info from you two, and I look good. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I got an extra check in the mail for you.
Yeah. There you go. And someone, I think it was your show, I don't know whose show it was somebody's show, so I'm not plagiarizing or stealing or copywriting. And they said they were talking about putting a face covering on to stop you getting ill. And this person said, if you lift up the box, it says this doesn't do it. It doesn't protect you. So there you are. This is the irrational whatever. I've got to wear this because it will to protect me because I got to. But on the box, it says, I'm not protecting you. Okay, fine. Now, they're the little things we notice, like the one I told you about the law in this country. You can't have, in the lockdown, you couldn't have sex in the house. You'll kill people, you'll spread it, but you can go outside. That was what he said live. And you're like, okay. So they were the little ones all through the last 17 months. That's illogical. I'm sorry, I even heard someone prominent in your country tell people to drink certain things. And I'm like, you what? What? And bugger me, didn't you go and do it? Like, anyway,
yeah.
You're not laughing at them. You're looking at this. These are laws. So you start to deconstruct it, and something's not right. That's where you start. Something is fishy. And the more that you use a bit of discernment, well, it's now basically some of these things are so illogical. Why would someone come up with that? That is consciousness showing you now what was hidden. We believed all that shit before. Before we become aware on the individual, who am I? I am not this limited victim to be abused, and then you tell yourself, I'm no good, I'm useless, no one loves it, and all that crap. I've been there. I should have won a fucking Oscar for victim mode. I was the best actress in the universe for that one. Until you get there, you believe everything you're told. Do this, do that, watch, do this, get educated this way, sit this way, stand this way. Do you know you can't swear on a podcast? All of that. And everyone goes, protocol, perfect. But then all of a sudden, the anarchist comes out. You go, I see, Lord, why can't I do that? Who said I can't call Chris Mathieu a little shit, irritating? And who said I can't do that? Because my opinion of you should not define you. You define yourself. You value my. So that's how it starts, and that is major now. Before you comply, all I ask, before you comply to anything, or even please don't agree with anything I say, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. Get your own truth. It's the best truth to have, your own truth. But before you comply to something, use a bit of discernment. Why am I losing Homo sapiens sapien, my freedom? Why am I giving it to them? I've had a conversation with Ryder. Obviously, you're going first and Ryder's going second because you pay me more money than he does.
Of course.
And he raised something really prominent that we both noticed at the very beginning of this. Complete DNA extract. Yeah. And he put it into his truth, and I was like, wow, I never thought of it like that. Ooh, that's in my consciousness now. But it's his experience, and I totally accept it, even though I'm coming from a different angle. It doesn't make no difference. And I look at every person's conversation or truth, and I go, wow, that's cool. Look at the work they had to do to get there. I'm not alone in the work I'm doing. We're all going the same timeline or now, but we're all experiencing differently, which means I am experiencing all things at all times in all timelines now. How does that sound?
That sounds awesome. And I have to thank you, Gloria. I will be going on a hike here in the next few hours, and I'm going on a little mountain hike, and I was going to do some meditating once I reach the top of my mountain. Good. And I will have a lot to meditate on today.
This will.
Fantastic.
You will. You just go in and go inside into the silence and ask the question, who am I? Even though you know intellectually and experientially, yeah, still go in, just go in. And then do the work. I'm not that.
I'm going to drag my meat suit up there.
And do you have any Bigfoots? I hear about you got Bigfoots in America.
Oh, I've heard there are. I would love to see one of those fellas.
But Chris, can you not get murdered? Because that's very selfish.
Yeah.
Because I need you in the panel and our future conversations together. Definitely. Well, Chris, I don't think we've touched on everything. I want to thank you for the conversation. If anyone out there thinks, well, that's not very professional, it wasn't supposed to be professional. It's two human beings, us, having a conversation. And that's what my podcast's about. Me and Chris both have individual shows where we do the professional stuff, as you do. We play the Homo sapiens sapien, but this is just consciousness and just a conversation. Zoom to Zoom. Okay. I thank you so much for your contribution. I will send you the money in the post. And I'd like to thank everyone for watching. And until next time, until my next guest, I now know how to turn off the video. I didn't on the other video. I was live going, how do I turn this off, Ryder? How do I do it? So watch this one. Bye, guys. See you next time for the next conversation.